I'm gonna start streaming. Cool.
So Biden's got the vaccine. That's fun. That's. I want the vaccine.
Alright, now we're at day 2 of Death Stranding.
Welcome to Stranding of Death.
Death Stranding.
Death. Stranding Death. Hello.
Alright, how's my mic today?
A little quiet, but I have you at 100%. Yeah, you're just a little quiet this time. Alright, I'm just setting up a couple other things.
Oh, I forgot I had to turn the volume off so I didn't hear repeats of everything. I didn't hear.
Oh, the most annoying thing ever.
Yep. That's the only way you can do it, though, really.
He's so weird. How are you doing today, Maxine and
Sam,
Ed?
Hartman here.
I'm doing
Research
fine.
are devoted to uncovering the
I'm
secrets
fine.
of
Power
the
went out
features
for
in
a
Death
little bit,
Stranding,
but-
as well as those of
Yeah,
doomed
everyone's power
survivors.
kind of went out today.
The shower in your
Mine
room
never
was
went
designed
out
with chiral
fully, but
decontamination
it did
in mind.
flicker at one
Chiral
point, and that
matter
knocked the
can adversely
Wi-Fi out
affect
for
hormone
10
secretion
minutes or
and
so.
nervous function. There's a correlation between
Nice.
exposure
Hopefully,
and the development of
the
bones,
microphone's
as
falling
well as in
as
extreme
it will.
cases.
Hopefully,
violent
my power
and
doesn't
suicidal
decide to go out
causes.
during the middle of streaming.
Chiralian contamination has even been postulated as a trigger
Probably
for the
not.
onset of
I don't think it's
dooms.
going to again.
I
It was
should
earlier
add that
today
these
that we were
showers
all
have
having
another
problems.
function. The collection of blood, hair, fluids, and other natural waste.
It's not raining very hard right now.
They
Either.
provide a
I don't think it's
non-invasive
raining
means
right
to
now,
monitor
actually.
your exposure to chiralium and your overall health. And I freely admit a chance to study the unique properties of your physiology, you being a repatriate and all.
This case will remove any chiral matter still clinging to your suit. Speaking of suits, blue is for delivery personnel, red for medical, orange for corpse disposal, and black for security.
Hey
You guys
there.
still there?
Believe
Yeah.
we've met.
Yeah, we're
I
still
Still
oversee
here.
quiet.
delivery
I'm trying to figure out what
operations
to do
as well
here.
as maintenance and repairs. Nice to have you on board. I'm Mama, in case I didn't mention it before.
I
Those
will drop
there
a link
are
on your video,
strands.
James.
Not just used for packing, by the way, but for identification too. Take a closer
Yeah.
look and you'll see. See the red there?
It was a
That's
successful,
your
like,
blood.
Say that again, Maxine. A lady was talking.
I said I would drop a like, and I did.
Thank you kindly.
You had a chance to think it over? Chock full of chiralium, but safe for you Dooms guys to wear. That's all you'll need to go forth and reconnect the world. To make us whole again.
I'm a porter. I don't care about connecting anything. Or making knots. But I'll do what I have to help Amelie out.
Whoa. Oh, look at him looking in the mirror.
Listen up, Sam. The terminals Amelie's people built in the towns and cities they passed through on their journey west are called knots. The infrastructure's there, but the Cairo network is offline. Right now, it's only capable of transmitting voice communications. Sometimes wired, sometimes wireless, and a small amount of data. So, unless the necessary data stored on site, our chirograms won't show up. Amelie and the other Bridges members you've seen around the place are grams generated with local data. In case you didn't know. Anyway, all you've got to do is find the knot, connect your Cupid, and bring Cairo communications online. Once you connect it to the terminal, you'll be able to initiate zero-time massive data transmission with the UCA network. And just like that, you'll reconnect us not only to each other, but to our past. All the lost and fragmented junk data will be compiled and restored. Like bringing a dinosaur back to life from a fossil. $4.6 billion years of history on Earth. All the wisdom and knowledge we lost since the Death Stranding will be ours again. And that, my friend, is how we'll beat this thing. Once you establish Cairo communications, generating grams won't be an issue. You'll also be able to use Cairo printers. Won't be long before we're able to send all kinds of things through the wire.
Except anything original. Or that's got a soul. Nothing real. Just copies.
True. Which is why we'll still need porters like you. Before and after we're made whole, we'll need men in the middle.
No rest for the wicked, huh?
Yeah, well, idle hands and all that. We'll give you the details at the dispatch terminal. Make sure you check it upstairs. Drop's waiting up there, too.
These shoes look like they've done some serious miles. Shall I dispose of them?
Wait. Hold on. There's something I want you to look into. My blood seemed to set those things off. Happened more than once.
Set them off? How do you mean?
I don't know. You took my blood, didn't you? You tell me.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
Nice.
Take care of him. I promise you.
This is videos about board games that secretly have insidious messages, and it's pretty funny so far.
Nice.
It's like all that the game of sorry will ever teach you
Sam,
is that sorry is ever only used in sarcastic tones by people who don't mean it,
Network from here to Port Knot City.
and that
You can make a beeline straight for it.
trusting your
Signal
family
won't
is
carry that
a
far.
mistake because
Cover the
they're
distance,
just gonna screw you to get ahead.
utilize knots.
I'm like, nice.
Think of it like
Yeah, no,
tying
that's
ropes
it.
together
That's
to
definitely
make a
what we
multi
learned from
rope.
Sorry.
For sure.
These knots is a Bridges Way station. Go ahead and take
Yeah.
out the order. Deliver
The
whatever
description
you
of
need.
Checkers, where he went on to talk about, he was like, Checkers is just baiting for a race horde. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. We're all either all the black pieces or all the white pieces want to obliterate the other side, and I'm like, wow, damn,
Sam,
it's
I
ridiculous.
summaries may contain information critical
I'm-
to your success.
had to go
Make sure to
go
review
do
them
something
before
real
getting
quick.
underway.
All right. Thanks for
See
saying
ya.
hi, Ed.
Well, no, I already did it, so
Oh,
for the most part.
so you're not leaving?
No, not right now.
Okay. But are they asking you to redo something that you said you did already? Then?
No, I just had to put away dishes and whatnot.
Sam, we've supplied you with some rope and a ladder for this run.
Oh, so you
They
left
should
and came
help with the
back.
steeper end
I was
down,
wondering why you were so
and the
quiet.
ladder
I was
will
wondering.
also
Yeah.
make a halfway
I
decent
was just being
bridge
quiet
if you need
because
to cross
I
the
was
river.
distracted by
Right
this
now,
absolutely sarcastic
I was-
video.
I was
Talking
just being
about
quiet because
how
there
Blue
was
teaches
a.
you how to get away with murder.
I was just being quiet because it was a big old cutscene. So it all kind of worked out. We were all really quiet during the cutscene, and then as soon as it ended, we all started talking.
Nice. Clue teaches you how to get away with murder. It's built to allow children to learn how to become homicide detectives. Yep. This
They
is
really need
quite a
that many
video.
ladders, though.
There's just as many shoots, James. If not more. See, because I clicked on this video because it was like top 10 board games we all secretly hate, and I'm like, it was gonna be one of those stupid top 10 videos. I figured from like a cheap website, but then like the video starts and it seems normal loud enough, and it just like absolutely goes off the rails.
Anyone want to
Or
see
you
the Chalicerate?
Well, what is it?
The Chalicerate Leviathan.
I'm streaming to YouTube, so
Yeah, James already got a stream going.
I've obviously seen it before, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you have.
you want to see me walk?
So, I saw that there's a little tunnel underneath the vent garden. I'm guessing that's the Crystal Cave
Crystal Cave? I'm not sure.
with the artifact N6M.
Good question. I don't know.
Beginning scan. Have a pleasant
Oh,
I'm
by the
gonna
way.
get right above it and then dive down.
Right. Pause your stream for a second. I did from the base or your game.
Ed, why are you streaming now?
I wanted to show Alice my the renovations I did to my base.
Sam, triple
So, yeah.
checked your loadout, I take it?
Right up here I have the cover pack for the snow bike.
Oh, nice. The
Yeah.
snow fox.
James,
Yeah, the snowfall.
Starting to learn the ins and outs of streaming to people.
I don't think the
People are
snowfall
usually
works
not focused on
underwater.
what you're doing.
Oh no, I just
Yeah,
pick
that's
it
true.
up and whatnot.
Well, if I had an
Oh,
actual fan
okay.
base, I wouldn't need a group of friends to talk to as I stream. I could just talk
Oh,
to chat.
ouch.
Oof.
I see how it is.
Yeah, once
See,
I get famous,
or you just
fuck
get,
all of you.
or you just get.
Just using
you
us for
just
the
get-
clout, huh?
Oof.
Wow.
Or you can just be like me and just have a shit ton of friends you can spam with the video, and a couple of them will look at it. A couple of
Exactly.
That's
That's
true.
what
That's
I
how
do.
it goes.
That's why I
How it
pinged that
goes.
here. Should I have pinged at everyone? I'm streaming, baby.
No, don't
See,
be one
but
of
this
those
is only
people.
one server worth of people. You need to have several servers worth of people to spam.
Alright, here's the vent
To
garden,
get-
people.
Get like 5 watchers. To get like 5. That's what I do.
Nice. What do you want to spam people my stream for me?
Oh, that.
Yes, this is the vent garden.
Have a pleasant journey.
Yes,
No, I can't spam your stream
yeah.
because I already spam my
no,
stream
it's not
often
under
enough.
there.
But I think I'd drive people crazy to be spamming more than just mine.
Messages, warnings,
Nice.
words of encouragement.
You can always become a furry though and spam your own stream. That's an option.
I'm
That's an
not a
option.
furry though. I'm not into fluffy animals shit.
Well, then that's your problem.
Okay, so that's really, really deep. This is gonna be an
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
I heard Ed's sister. I don't hear
Oh
Ed
my god, am
anymore.
I not gonna make it? No, I'm like right here. How did it?
Or that would have Ed's
Is
mom.
it
I'm
seriously
not
that
sure.
deep that I just can't? I just barely didn't make it to the surface. Are you kidding me? Okay. So now I know the depth of that is no joke whatsoever. So how do I get to it then? Oh, here's a vent garden, like a smaller one. Yeah, juvenile vent garden. Okay, I'll head to Artifact LFO.
Keep on keeping on.
It'd be cool if I could run across the Sea Emperors.
Mhm.
So, I guess this is pretty good news generally, looking into it a bit. So the idea is that by the end of next year, we should be able to have festivals and large gatherings again.
That would
So
be
by
nice.
I think Memorial Day was what they're aiming for, actually.
The thing is that
Even the
I'm really
best
not
criminals have to
optimistic,
cargo.
and I don't think anyone
You're
else
better
should
than
be
the best.
either,
You've got what it
because
takes
of
to
the
finish what they
sheer
started.
quantity of people that are anti-vax. I think that we won't get the
Consider
numbers
taking them
that we
their
need to
intended
achieve.
destination.
It's easier than you might.
You also have someone in government
See,
that can
all our
mandate it,
packages are
though,
tagged with Bridges IDs
if
for
we
easy
try hard
tracking.
enough.
And your
Plus, the
ultra
thing
I don't
is,
know.
who-
Biden
might
kind of
affect their ID.
sucks.
He
Which
does
is
not
a
suck that
roundabout way of saying, but that thing on your shoulder can help you
He's
locate
gonna
the
want
slave
people to
shipments.
take the vaccine, as will most people in government that are not idiotic people. I think people really overestimate
Remember, Sam,
how bad Biden's gonna be.
Every parcel is a promise made to a person in need.
If it was Trump, I'd be substantially less optimistic. But he's gone in about 3 weeks.
It's gonna be a fucking blast to have him out of office.
It will be. It really will be. So I want to stay optimistic because the thing is, this is what most people in health, in the medical industry, are saying right now. Like Fauci is saying that this is a reasonable prospect, so that leads me to believe that this is definitely a possible thing.
I'm gonna die down here. Drop the reactor
Anyway, so
rod?
I think we should really try to do something next summer. I think by next summer most of us will be vaccinated and we can go do a camping trip or something like that. Or at least do like meetups at people's houses and stuff like that. So I think we should aim for that. Like I would do. Just being inside people's houses playing video games would be fun.
Oh, with this depth module, I think I can make it to both these sites. Okay.
Because I mean, this is for in terms of large gatherings that they're saying would be able to happen by the end of next year, not just small gatherings of people. So small gatherings are probably fine once everyone that shows up has the vaccine. once
And
we're
the
all-
booster shot. Don't forget the booster shot.
Yes, need both of them.
It's critical.
But you get both, and then once we have both of them, we should totally have a get together. Once
I need
and
to
anyone
go
that shows
for a
up has to
bit,
get it.
so
See ya, Ed.
See ya, Ed.
See ya. My point being though, once we get the vaccine and the booster shot, whoever comes, making sure that you have it. But then we should show up at each other's houses and hang out again, and do a camping trip or something like that.
Well, yeah, I'd love to hang out, but yeah, the booster shot's critical here.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm just saying, I want to be optimistic right now, because it's like I think things are gonna get better. You know?
I agree with
I
Maxine
think it's
on
hard.
this.
I
I'm
want
like,
to be
I don't-
optimistic.
I think it's
want
much
to.
worse to not be optimistic, because then you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Regardless, like, I mean, it's been a depressing year. You need to have some
yeah.
amount of hope, because otherwise things are kind of pointless feeling, you know? So I would rather be optimistic. Even if it's not going to be perfect, I think things will be better.
I'm sorry
wanna
that
be
I'm
a doomer
not
anymore.
as optimistic.
I just don't want to be a doomer anymore. I'm done being a doomer.
Same.
I think you need to keep the morale up a little bit.
I just don't want to get disappointed at this point. Because, you know, I thought it's just 2 weeks, and then it was not just 2
Yeah, but they also thought it was going to be several years from now, and look how quickly the vaccine came.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that goes both directions, is my point. The only people that really said it was going to be quick were people that had no idea. The people that had an idea thought it was going to be a lot longer than it's going to end up being.
Well, I completely underestimated, or overestimated the willingness of people to stay safe for each other.
That's
Honestly.
true. I will give you that. But regardless, it was never going to be that quick. No matter what happened, really. I obviously was exacerbated by idiots and the government, but I mean, I don't think it was going to happen much faster than it is right now. It's pretty much lightning speed to the vaccine. The fact that people are already being vaccinated is definitely hopeful, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, there was a point where everyone was like, there's not going to be a vaccine, and now there is. More than one, and several others coming. And they've already been partially distributed. They just, it's taking some time to get it fully distributed.
Yep.
And the other thing, even if other people don't take the vaccine, like, you'll be fairly safe if you take the vaccine yourself.
We need at least 90% of people to take it, and I am not confident that we'll have that.
I'll see. I mean, a lot of people. I think if employers can force it, like private industry, I think you'll have a lot better luck with
That
it.
will definitely help.
Well, yeah.
Because you have to pressure people where it counts in America, and that's honestly their wallets. People's
I
wallets.
really hope
pressure
that
people with
people
money.
do that. I really hope that employers do that.
I think
One
they
thing
will,
though is
because
I've
there's no good reason for them not to.
doctors that can be bribed to say that you've taken it when you haven't. But I feel like that's going to be very uncommon.
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a minority of people that don't want to get the vaccine. Because even people that are iffy on the vaccine are going to be the kind of people that want to keep their jobs and whose employers will fire them if they don't. And I'm sure it's going to become a requirement for public schools and stuff like that.
I see
So
you brought
eventually
in some
everyone's going to
lost
have to take
cargo.
the vaccine.
Feel free to submit
And it's
it
going to be a
here for
select few people
processing.
that don't.
If you come across any more
That
while out on
have
a
the
run
privilege
and
of
don't
not
think you can
having
carry it to its
someone
destination,
forcing them
you can
to
always
and
put
are
it in
stupid
storage.
enough.
It'll be safe and secure until another
But I think
porter
honestly the
comes along
forcing
to
people to
finish the
do so
job.
is going to make it so that a
Even if it
substantial
has to
chunk of the
pass through a
population
dozen
takes
more
it.
hands before it arrives, you can rest easy
Because I think
knowing you
everyone,
did
I
your
think
part.
the vast majority of people don't want to be stuck inside anymore. And the vast majority of people would rather take something that would be a little bit safer. If they, you know what I'm saying? Like they think it'd be a little bit safer than not going out. So even if they're stupid enough to go out, they'd also be like, I'll take the vaccine and now it's slightly safe. They'll think it's slightly safer to go out or whatever. Even though it's way safer, but you know. All you need is to convince people that it benefits them to take it. Or to threaten to remove benefits from them if they don't take it. And I think that's easy enough to pressure people, especially when it comes to money. That's how you do it. Anyway, I'm hopeful that things next summer we can do shit. At least together as a small group, you know?
For sure.
I think that's definitely going to happen. Whether or not you can go out and do anything, that's a whole other thing next summer. But
Sam,
as a small
remember
group,
that
we can
prolonged
definitely go
exposure to
camping and
time
hang out at
will
each other's
damage
houses
cargo
next summer.
containers. Don't stay out in the rain any longer than you have
As long as we're all safe and careful, not stupid.
Finally, magnetite. God, that took forever to find.
The other reason I'm a little bit optimistic is because a couple months ago, even, not that long ago, we were all still doom and gloom about there being any vaccine at all. And now we're at the point where we have one for sure. So there is a tentative timeline, as opposed to no timeline at all. You know what I mean? Like, even if the timeline isn't going to be perfect, we actually have one. Whereas before it was, who knows.
Oh, here's the horror section of the game, or the stealthy section. You think you can make it through without getting caught this time?
I should probably watch your stream.
No. I'm going to say no.
Well, let's watch it and find out.
Where did you post it? Event channel?
We'll say you're
Original
gonna get caught.
Original content. There we go. Oh, YouTube crashed as soon as I opened the link. Okay, there you go. I keep dying because I'm afraid to go too deep. Wait, what? The hell? My character's tripping. Why? What the hell?
Is he tripping like falling over, or tripping
No,
like
physically
drug
like
trip?
drug tripping, like LSD.
Interesting.
Okay,
You're
fine.
playing
Yeah, wear it off.
Monster Hunter?
No, Subnautica Below Zero. There's a creature that was similar to the Mesmer, but I guess it's different because it doesn't hypnotize you. It just releases pheromones. That does it makes you trip, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stay away from those guys from now on.
I do think it's going to be a mess actually getting the COVID vaccine to people, because the federal government's been absolutely fucking useless. So it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. I mean, not case-by-case, it's going to be state-by-state basis.
Yeah, we were apparently way too underprepared for something like this, which boggles my mind.
Well, there was a playbook that Obama made, and Trump threw it out.
Might as well have been not there.
Yep. I mean, no, literally, like, Trump just threw out the playbook that Obama had for it and completely ignored it. Like, he fucking blew it.
Oh yeah, big time.
I think if it had been any other president, we wouldn't have had such a bad time this pandemic, to be honest.
Yeah, no. The entire world would have had a better response.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're still the global leaders in all sorts of shit. As much as we've been fucking up everything, everyone still follows our lead for the most part. At least in the terms of Western countries. Which is where the money is, honestly. Which is why we have to set the right example, because if US fucks up, everything else is going down a bit.
As evidenced by gestures in the general direction of this.
Of everything. Of everything. That's why I'm like, this is the country where like all sorts of bad shit happens, but like, it's also a country that's so absolutely important to keeping the world stabilized, frankly. For the better or the
I think that
worse.
the world needs to get more dependent of the US, just because you can't rely on just one country.
Yeah, I think we need less dependent of us too. But on the other hand, there are other countries that are vying for global supremacy at this point. Notably China and Russia, who, you know, that's, you know, I'm not sure I trust Putin or Z to
Definitely not.
do the right thing either. I mean, honestly, those are really the other two countries that actually have some pretty substantial global influence. UK does too, but less so after they left the EU like dumbasses.
Yeah.
The EU has a lot of influence.
Well, I mean,
so that's
they
something. But
picked
still,
a dumbass, they got a dumbass.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the UK made a lot of the same stupid errors that the US did.
Yep.
But that also, them not being in the EU weakens the EU, so.
I'm so confused. I was supposed to be, oh, it's still under me. Crap.
I am glad that we, as much as a lot of people in Los Angeles have been absolutely dumbasses about the virus, and that's why we have such horrible numbers here, I do honestly trust the government here in California to make decent decisions in regards to the pandemic. Even if I don't trust people here all that much to make good decisions.
I feel like they're gonna try to work hard to make sure everyone gets it. To get, or is it that we need to get? I trust that the government here in California is gonna push to make sure we get the amount of people we need to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
For the state, at least.
I would be far more worried if it was in a state run by Republicans right now.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Or
so as much as I worry about people here being stupid, because there's some really stupid. I mean, there's a shit ton of people in Los Angeles to begin with, so of course you're going to be a COVID center. But then also a lot of people have just been absolute dumbasses during this. But despite that, the government itself in California, I'm not worried about. I think they'll make good decisions ultimately, as long as they don't get fucked by the federal government. So this is what's been on my mind, because I'm like, we got to be nearing the end of this soon.
It would help.
I mean, like, Biden has the vaccine now, so, like, That's got to be like at least gonna push it towards everyone's gonna get it eventually. Because Biden like made a whole point out of taking it and saying you need to get the vaccine to people. So I'm like, hopefully intelligent people take it.
Hopefully everyone takes it, not just the intelligent people.
Oh yeah, no, I'd hope so too, but I'm just like, get some people to take it and then get schools and businesses to pressure, and then you'll get most people taking it. I think something like a COVID passport would honestly be really important.
Yeah, I don't think other countries should allow travel between other countries until there's a vaccine mandate.
Yeah, there should be a vaccine mandate for traveling from country to country pretty shortly here. Once it's available, for sure. My hope is by 2022, you can travel back to Europe, because I would like to go travel to Europe again in 2022. Which I think is reasonable. We'll see what happens. That's still 2 years out. It's a pretty good chunk of time till we get there.
Enough already.
Oh shit. Spiral plant.
Okay, I just read, I was like, for a second here, I was a little freaked out, and then I realized I was looking at the wrong date.
What were you reading?
Well, so I see that people working at nursing homes, so like you, since you work at that with the
I'm
seniors.
going to. I'm not like.
You should be able to get it. You should be able to get it in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Frontline essential workers and people 75 and older will likely start getting the vaccines next in late winter 2021. And I was like, oh shit, we're not getting it until December. And then I remembered that February and January are also also winter. I was like, oh shit. Scared me for a second.
Oh, it stopped raining. Sweet. Here's photo mode. This is a very pretty site. Here's photo mode.
Hive mind? What is that? Oh man, I don't like that look of that. Well, I'm heading towards one of the artifacts at least.
Nice.
So
I'm almost
apparently there
at
was
my destination, which is nice.
Nice. So apparently there was a version, an unofficial version of Monopoly called Game Monopoly, and it's all based on like 80s gay stereotypes. I kind of want to track it down because it looks kind of fun. Like one
Do
of
you
the
guys
things
want to
is
see?
well, like one of the things you can do in the game is like the chance cards. In order to get whatever the money amount is on the chance card, you have to do something outside the game that is gay culture related. So like, for example, one of the things is you have to say the word fabulous in 6 different ways. I'm like, that's offensive but kind of funny as hell. Kind of funny.
Do you guys want to see a cutscene?
No.
Okay. Well, anybody who's watching my stream is gonna get a cutscene as soon as I go through this bulkhead door.
I mean,
Sorry,
I'm playing my own game.
Games at the moment, so sorry. I'm not gonna see it. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Let's see. How about The Sinking of Titanic, the board game? I guess if you can make Leonardo DiCaprio movie about it, you can make a board game about it. Oh god. Wow. I'm not even going to talk about that one.
Won't be long before we're back on track.
God.
God. This is great. Thank you again. Yeah, everything looks to be in good order. And soon our way station will be too, I hope.
There's a lot of really sexist board games.
Rip.
From like the 60s. 50s and 60s. Hey Ed.
Welcome back, Ed.
Okay, so there's a lot more that you could do at the Crazy Lady's base, apparently. What is this that I get to scan? Oh, Snow Fox fragment? That's not gonna help.
Caught in the void.
Oh wait, yes it is.
No way. That one blast got them all? And what, they just sent you out on your own? I mean, if it was just a delivery, that'd be one thing. Porters come through from time to time, but the second team was meant to bring the Cupid. They were gonna connect us up. 3 years we've been waiting for help. 3 years. And they sent us one
This guy doesn't seem to like me.
Shit.
Wonder
That's
why.
mean. You should like you. Cause you're
got the
nice.
Cupid.
Well, I mean, it's a snow stalker. It's a feral animal.
Yeah, but that's no excuse.
I don't think he's gonna let me pass.
Then you just might be the
He keeps
answer to my
growling.
prayers. So what are you waiting for? You put
you're
us on the
at that
goddamn grid.
Yeah. I used to be able to walk in there. Oh, here, a large glass dome. Alright, yeah, I bet you if I try and walk through here, he's gonna bite me or some shit. Alright, excuse me, buddy. Oh, it physically won't let me through. Oh, but I know there's stuff to scan behind there. Come on. What if I kill him? Save. Bonk. Nope, can't do it. Take her prawn suit. No, never mind.
Connection to capital, not city, confirmed. It's really happening. Just like Amelie promised. We can finally do what we came here to do. Hey, you're headed west, right? Gonna be a lot
He has a
of
Christmas
people
hat
happy
on.
to see you.
You're
You
a
should keep on
Christmas
till you're at
hat.
the coast, huh? Which
You're
means you'll
a
get to see Amelie in person.
Christmas
Oh, that's something.
cap.
That's really something.
You take that
Me, I've
back.
never met her.
No.
Only see. Well, anyway, you best be careful on the road. There's some bad people.
Alice.
out there. More than good,
I have a
some
Wumple.
say.
You do?
Wumpus.
But I don't need to tell
Yes.
you that.
That's cute.
Yes.
Thank you, Sam. By bringing that way station into the Cairo network, you've put it in direct contact with
Wumpus
those of
is
us
very
back
happy
here
in his new
Capital
home.
Knot City.
Right. What's next?
That's good.
West of the way station are a couple of structures.
I heard
on
Ed in
which
the
these
background.
expeditions play in place. And beyond them is your next destination.
Yeah, Ed,
I
you're
heard
quiet
Will.
as fuck now.
It's on the shore of a crazy.
Now you're not.
Your objective is to link up port and capital
I
knot.
swear to
But to do
God.
that,
My
You'll need
mic
to utilize our
is
facilities
busted.
as additional waypoints.
Are you
Welcome
sure
back.
you don't just have it set to your Rift mic? Because that happened to me once.
I think it seems fine now, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're looking at using a distribution
I did
center
a die.
at the power station. As
Oh,
long as
that's
you
bad.
go first.
Alright, I'm pretty much catching up to where I left off in 6 hours. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah, I gotta connect everything. Blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. I don't
James.
care about you and your stupid mask and your gamer tag username.
James is based.
Delivery terminal for further information.
James,
Don't mind
do
me.
you remember that game we played with Alyssa? Pandemic?
Is that a board game?
Yes.
Thanks to the
I have that.
Nice. I kind of want to play it. Try it again. Remember the last time we
There's-
just weren't very invested in it, but I kind of want to try give it a second shot.
you can use that
Given the
There's
current
actually-
state of things.
It might
There
be
was
fitting.
actually various extensions for that board game.
Yeah, I heard. So I was like, I heard about the Pandemic Legacy series, where the games are only meant to be played once, and you actually like destroy cards and stuff, and that sounded really interesting.
Really?
Like high stakes, like you purchase one of the games, and then there's like super high stakes, and if you fuck up things, like cards get like permanently like ripped up or burned, which sounded really interesting. I've never heard of a board game where you actually destroy the game as you play it.
To build a post box, you'll need to use a PCC.
Sounded expensive, but kind of cool. Anyway, I wanted to give the original Pandemic a try at some point again, because I only played it the one time with Alyssa. We didn't get that far into it, because we were all distracted by other stuff.
So how the hell is this guy able to carry everything on his shoulders and whatnot?
Because that's
Hammer
what he
space.
does for a living. No, it's not hammer space.
Hammer strength. There you go.
The dude's just got good gains.
It's not built like Dwayne Johnson.
I think that's a little bit more than good gains if
That's true.
you practically need an exosuit to carry all that shit.
Well, I got good news for you, Ed.
Okay.
I don't know if James is at that part, though.
Probably not.
Been a cold day.
Am I
It
supposed to
has
bring these
been a
rare
cold day.
materials? I am. Oh,
The
okay.
heater in this house sucks, so it's just cold in here. This house, like, it doesn't insulate at all, so it's just like, however, whatever the temperature is outside, it's fairly close to what the temperature is in here. Otherwise, it's fucking cold in here.
Okay, Sam, I'm gonna get that stupid giant thing off you. Don't worry.
Crap. I just lost power to my ship. There we go.
We need a fireplace. Sounds awesome. Wait, how does Santa get here if there's no fireplace?
Through the window!
Through the window. No wonder my screen window's broken. That all makes sense now. Oh dear. Actually, you know what? They could just remove some of the roofing tiles, flip in through the roofing tiles, and then there's actually something that goes up to like the crawl space in between the ceiling and roof, and then they could crawl in through there. That would work.
You're talking about a fat guy.
This is Santa. Santa's been honing his stealth skills for the last couple dozen centuries. I think he's good. Santa puts like Solid Snake and the Splinter Cell guys to shame in terms of stealth.
They should make a new game for Splinter Cell.
I've never played the Splinter Cell games. I don't think I've ever played any of those Tom Clancy games, actually.
PCC at the way station. Wait. I'm so confused.
James, you're confused?
Mm-hmm.
That's bad, don't be confused. Because then you get lost. You know, if you showed Death Stranding to someone 10 years ago in the gaming community, they'd go, "Where's the guns? Where's the guns?"
Honestly.
Why isn't this Call of Duty? Why isn't this Honestly, a decade ago, the gaming community kind of sucked. Everyone was like, either you play retro games that all have to look exactly like the 80s, or you can play COD. You can play, or Battlefield, maybe.
Or TF2.
Well, TF2 is kind of cool. TF2 is cool.
Minecraft?
Like, there was.
I played
okay,
racing
Minecraft
games at
came a little bit
2010.
later.
Fuck y'all on your COD games.
Yeah, but racing games weren't popular in 2010.
I don't care.
Well, I mean, my point being, people were real dicks in the gaming community right around that time period.
I'm gonna F your mom in the butthole.
Whoa.
Dude, you can't curse like that. I got you on speaker. There's the mom walking in the room. What did you just say? It was a male's again on TV. Smack, smack, smack. Can't say that shit. You're like 5. I don't remember when I was playing some online game. I don't remember what game it was that I would meet strangers on, but I met someone on Xbox Live, and he sounded like they were fucking 5, and they were cursing up so much, and I was like, "Yo, are you like good?" And they're like, "No, I'm not fucking good, you motherfucker." And they're just cursing all the things.
Sound like Redwood Middle School student cursing.
Sound like an elementary school kid, honestly.
What was I thinking of? I think my favorite thing that I read online when it came to little kids talking about games is there was some 12-year-old that was talking about how he convinced his mom to let him play Halo, even though it's unrated. And he's like, "Oh yeah, the trick was that, you know, my mom really doesn't like bad language. So at the very end of the first level in Halo 3, one of the guys says ass. But you just gotta make sure to kill them before they say ass, because then they don't say the word." And I'm like, fucking standards of American parents. It's okay if you murder the guy before he says ass. As long as they don't say ass, you can shoot him in the face. That's fine. That's fine. And I'm like, good lord. Come on.
Yeah, really. It took my parents forever to convince them to let me play Assassin's Creed.
I wasn't allowed to play unrated games until I was 16.
I got to play Assassin's Creed at sophomore year, so I was 15.
16.
15. Fuck you. To be fair, I only played one M-rated game though, so it's like...
Well, like at 16 I got Halo, and then I had to like, it was case-by-case basis for a little bit, and then I started getting the Xbox Live Gold games for free, and I just downloaded whatever. And at that point, my parents didn't care anymore. As long as I didn't have GTA, honestly. Which, by the way, I got a year or two after anyway.
I got GTA 5 as soon as I got my game PC, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. But I played so many other open world games at that point, it was just like...
I had GTA San Andreas first, because I got it from a garage sale. And I actually was like really worried about the game, and I hid it in the back of the cabinet. So I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Now they don't care. These days they give far less of a shit than they did before. Because I think they realized, just maybe, that it really doesn't matter now that much. It really doesn't.
If you access it and select Share Locker, you can
Plus,
share
yeah,
cargo and equipment with your fellow porters.
Can't do anything once I hit
Onto the
18.
ladder and the climbing ain't
Damn.
nothing.
Plus, honestly, there's a ton of T-rated games that should probably have M's, and a ton of M-rated games that should probably only be T anyway.
Agreed.
SRB doesn't do a very good job rating shit, to be honest. I mean, they're not the worst, but they're not great.
Right by others, they'll do right by you.
You know, they only usually rate things based on videos that are sent into them. Like, this is how the ESRB works. Like, the game publisher takes a video of the most, what they think are the most sensitive parts of the game, and they send it to the ESRB. And the ESRB rates it based on that, like, 10-minute video.
You're joking. That's how they rate the game.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, you know how many games to go through the ESRB? Like, a day? That's all they have time for. It's a short little 10-minute clip, and they base their rating on that. And then the game so it's honestly up to the honesty of the game developer. They actually want to show the more controversial parts of the game. But on the other hand, if they get complaints about that controversial parts of the game, then the ESRB gets pissed off at them, and they get in trouble.
I wonder if GTA 5
not showing off the
is
actual
doing
stuff.
that with Rockstar.
Well, not GTA 5, but Rockstar has gotten in trouble with the ESRB before for not showing all their content. And Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was actually a huge controversy over it, because in the files of the game there was a sex minigame, Hot Coffee, and it's not in the final game because they disabled it because they wanted an M rating. But if you used hacking software, you could open up the sex minigame, and the sex minigame pushed it over to an AO rating. But when the game first released, it was only an M rating because they didn't know it was in the game. But so there was a whole argument over whether or not something being in the files of the game should affect its rating if it's not accessible without cheating devices.
It's not accessible. It's not meant to be accessible, so fucking just...
No, but you could also use a cheat device and it is in the game's code. So there was a whole thing about that, and their final decision was that if it's in the game's code, it counts for the rating.
I
so
kind of
later
disagree with that, but I can understand why they feel that way.
In the later reprintings of GTA San Andreas, which I think is the greatest hits version, that minigame is removed from the code. I think the version I have is actually the original version, which technically has an AO rating, even though it's listed M on the box, because they changed it, post it being released.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought that was interesting. There's a couple of games that have them too. Elder Scrolls got in trouble for that too, in the 4th game of the series, because there was a the game got a T rating, but ultimately it ended up getting an M post because of the fact that there was super violent content that had been removed from the game. Like, there was some pretty bloody, gory stuff that ended up getting changed. But again, you could hack it in because it was in the code. But then there's also questions in terms of nudity of characters, because some character models are built all the way underneath the clothes that they're wearing, and that would change the rating. Like Tomb Raider, for example, I think had that issue for a while.
Interesting. Why would they build their models like that? That just wastes resources.
They're horny. They're horny.
I get that, but it wastes resources of development.
Well, it's they wouldn't fully do everything, but it's usually. I think the big thing was they always have to tits in games, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Having the nipple or not having the nipple. I think it was really the big thing.
Always like the quiet.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. That's been a massive issue in the ESRB. It was anyway for a while. These days, that doesn't happen so much. I mean, there's still issues with that happening, but a lot less often than it used to be. I think it's a lot. Developers are a lot more careful about what ended in the code these days.
Oh, this is annoying. I don't like this bit.
It's the same reason you don't see cheat codes as often in games anymore, because they're more worried about you finding shit they hid by accident that some stupid developer might have put in than they used to be. Or breaking a game. especially with like the way they've monetized games with like multiplayer, breaking the game's far like bigger deal than it used to be. So, in an old game, you owned it. Whatever you wanted to do with stupid cheat codes to break the game, it didn't really matter all that much. But these days, microtransactions and other players are on the line when you break a game, like Destiny, for example.
Yeah, the internet ruined gaming.
Yay! Yeah.
Okay, this is
I mean, even this game that's supposed to be a fully single-player experience, also has internet interaction. Like, if you're looking at the stream, there's a ladder here. Another player put this ladder here.
That's kind of interesting.
So if you hack the game,
This doesn't seem like the kind of game where you'd really screw around all that much, though. It's kind of a very focused experience,
Consider fabricating another.
I suppose so. True.
Like, compare it to, say, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, which is the kind of game in the past that would totally get fucked around with cheat codes.
Oh, for sure.
I miss those weird cheat codes in video games.
I used them in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 because I didn't want to take the time to unlock all the characters.
That's fair. You're in a lot of older arcade racing games too, which are just a lot less common these days.
Did you hear that Sega had to close down one of its arcades?
Well, which arcade did they close?
It's like one of the big ones in Hong Kong or something.
I haven't paid much attention to. Well, is it closed for the pandemic, or is it like permanently closed?
Well, it was closed for a while for the pandemic, and now it's permanently closed through and through. Sega had to shut it down and sell the property to keep afloat money.
That sucks. Yeah, I don't know about like arcades at large around the world, but I know in the U.S. they're struggling still, even with the newer stuff like gimmicks that have come up. I honestly do think VR arcades are going to catch on eventually, though.
VR
that
what?
seems to be a pretty common trend as of recent.
Oh, VR arcades?
Yeah, I think that trend's going to catch on because I think VR at an arcade is better than VR in your living room because there's so much more you can do with it, with extra space and extra props and stuff.
And there's also a lot of people don't have the money and time to set it up in their living room.
Or the space, even. Like, honestly, playing VR in my house isn't great because it's not very big. There's not a lot of space to move around. But, like, playing at 2-Bit Circus is pretty cool because you have, like, these huge spaces that you can run around in. Plus, they give you, like, giant guns and give you giant, full vests and all sorts of shit. So it can track your movement outside of just your head movement. So I think VR arcades will eventually catch on properly, but I know that you can't do any of that during the pandemic because you share headsets.
Yeah, sharing headsets
the wait
is
list
kind
kind
of
of over. So I think once that's over, though, I think VR will come back in a big way anyway. Because I think it's the kind of concept that's it's taking a little time to catch on, and it's taking a little time for the technology and cost to really start working in the favor of companies trying to do it on a mass scale.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Sam, if you
That I'm still semi-optimistic about the arcade business because I've seen certain arcade chains do it well. Like I think Dave & Buster's and Round 1 have had kind of a resurgence in the last couple of years. So like, even though everything's really bad right now because of COVID, I don't see arcades dying out entirely. Especially when you see some of the complexities that exist in Japanese arcade. I have a lot of that starting to finally be brought over to the US, slowly but surely. Like Round 1 has a lot of those kind of things being brought here. It kind of started with like the rhythm games here, getting more and more complex, and I think with some more work you can make arcades substantially more popular here. Just in terms of stuff you can't really do with a home console. Not graphics wise, but because home consoles and PCs can do just about anything an arcade can do graphics wise. But I think in terms of like gimmicks and like props and stuff like that. There's all sorts of things that arcades are better at.
Name's Sam.
Right now, I'm finally moving towards the next destination. Oh, my microphone! You piece of crap! Don't fall.
I do see a lot of classic arcades are struggling right now, though, and I think that's because a lot of those classic style arcades just haven't updated with time. I think the retro arcades that are working right now tend to be ones that are based around hipstery bars, to be honest. Like, barcades are still very popular amongst the 80s retro fan base. That's still a very niche audience, but fairly large niche audience, honestly. But I think other arcades that have existed for a long time that are like, unfortunately, mom and pop shops that still just rely on standard arcade machines are not doing so well right now. And I think, honestly, that they're going to have, for those kind of places to survive, they're going to have to invest in newer tech.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Makes sense.
But I think the fact that Dave & Buster's was expanding so quickly right before the pandemic kind of shows that there is totally a market for it.
Yeah.
I think especially in terms of like, there was a push for a while, I'd say in probably the early 2010s, to do more stuff at home and less stuff out and about. But then I think the popularity of things like Instagram started pushing people to go out more. Again, because, I mean, no one wants to see Instagram pictures of you in your house, honestly.
Yeah.
So you had to go somewhere to take the pictures. So I think there's like a resurgence in the popularity of actually going out and doing stuff. And I think like arcades can fit that bill. Especially with the popularity of retro 80s and 90s stuff at the moment. Which was a heyday for arcades, really.
I think once I get to my next destination, I'm gonna call it good. I think it'll be probably another hour to get there. Because of what I'm gonna have to deal with here. There's gonna be baddies that are gonna want to kill me.
So you gotta use stealth, or you gotta fight them off?
I'm gonna try stealth because that's what the game wants me to do. We'll see what happens. Also, Ed left.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but can you see those guys over there?
Can kinda see them.
They're resins. They see porters like me and try to get my cargo off me. They got detectors that will detect when there's cargo that will alert them.
You should shoot them in the face.
I don't have a gun yet.
Face shooting.
Did you see that? Yep, they know.
Heads up, Sam. Your cargo's been pinged.
Your stealth didn't work.
Move. Now, before someone has eyes on you. Get to your destination ASAP if you don't want to get caught.
So one of them, they're gonna start heading their way towards me. But instead of running from him like I did the first time, I'm gonna try and see if I can... Oh, all three of them saw me. Oh, fuck. Okay, never mind. I shouldn't have waited then.
Better run.
What's the run button? I think it's this. Oh, never mind. They're already playing this cutscene. They're scared away by the time fall. Because instead of these guys fucking me up, it's gonna be the BTs. Which are the super scary demon monsters.
Hello, did Ed just rejoin?
Yeah. And Ed left.
They know better than to mess with BTs.
I gotta go. Well, they know better than to mess with BTs, but then again, I'm about to mess with BTs. So I'm going to fuck off this path because I don't want to deal with them. I'm just gonna get rid of all these things. I know I've done this before. I kind of remember what to do now. I'm gonna go down here and cross this river. Since they're not gonna mess with me. That's funny, they set me up to get all fucked up, and then it's like, nah bro, never mind, they're too scared.
They gave up because of other demon dudes coming.
Mm-hmm. BTs
like,
are supposed to be like,
you
know the concept of when you die you become a ghost and you haunt someone? You're like, or
Yeah.
like when you die you could be in limbo.
Yeah.
That's what BTs kind of are. They kind of take that concept and twist it. So that's what, if you don't know what BTs are, you can kind of take that idea of being in limbo.
Okay.
I don't know much more than that because I didn't get very deep into this game. You know, this is cool. They're over on that side and I'm on this side, so haha. Last time I had to deal with them and it was really fucking annoying. I'm gonna get some of these things over here. Go, my child. Go. Pick up the flying. There you go. Also, I can hide in these things. Because, you know, every stealth game you can hide in tall grass. Thanks for chilling with me, by the way, Maxine.
You're welcome. I'm just chilling, watching videos while
Nice,
you play
nice,
through
nice.
it. I got your thing over on computer screen.
Thank you. You're keeping my stats up. I have 3 concurrent viewers. Hello, 2 other viewers that I do not know who they are.
Hello?
Chat's been empty. No one said a word, so I don't have anyone in chat to talk to. It's okay. Death Stranding's a boring game.
That's
pretty
right.
though.
There's like, that's the thing with this game is that there's just, it's a very quiet, very atmospheric game. So it doesn't translate super well to having back and forth streaming.
You know what I kind of find interesting though? Do you know about the game The Last Guardian?
I know a little bit about it, and it's the Eco people that did that one.
Yeah, it's the same people that made Eco and the same
Shadow
people
of
that
the
made
Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah. What I find interesting about that game, when it came out and people reviewed it, the people that were like IGN, GameStop, and other writers that were like in the game industry for journalism, most of them didn't like it for various reasons, and mainly because they found the giant pet you have to take care of very annoying. But then all the people that aren't in the gaming industry that reviewed the game, like someone on New York Times, for example, they loved it. For the pet.
I think it's that we could probably explain that with like, I think gamers are used to AI sucking, and they don't like sucky AI.
Well,
but then like, if the sucky AI is actually part of the way the game was built intentionally, I think gamers have a tendency to miss that.
I'll also give context that the AI for the pet in that game is actually really good. But what I was more trying to point to is that the experience of the game, sometimes people that are not like in the industry for, like in the game industry versus those in it, sometimes, I don't know, it's just interesting how their perspectives are different and you get to see how they change when it's on certain titles.
Okay, so I don't mean so much mean sucky AI, as in like the AI was clearly built. I mean more so that like the AI is not intended to be really good at the game, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause it's a similar issue with the original Dead Rising game, actually. A lot of people really hate that the AI in Dead Rising are really bad at the game and are pretty apt to die, but like it's kind of intentional because you're in a zombie apocalypse with a bunch of stupid people trying to save them. So it's like, if you look at it at first, you're like, wow, the AI in this game are terrible. I don't like the AI in this game. They make it less fun.
Alright.
But then and you're like, shit, they're intentionally designed like this because it's supposed to be difficult to save survivors. So I feel like it's kind of a similar thing with the dog there.
Yeah.
Like the AI was built in a certain way, and gamers were expecting one thing out of the dog to be perfect and listen to them, but that's not really how the game was designed.
So last time when I encountered some BTs, I was able to just kind of go around them. I can't do that this time. I'm gonna have to go straight through their territory. So let's see if I get caught again. There's one sort of over there. So I'm gonna try to go to the left here. First time I went through here, when I played the game the first time, I was able to make it through, but I was fucking terrified. Which is funny. Oh, there's one to my left now. Alright, now if I stop, I can see him. So we got one to my right and two to my left. The center's pretty much open. I'm playing on normal difficulty because I didn't want to make it too easy. Keep it a little interesting, you know? Alright, so right now, that thing is saying that I'm really close to them. So as it starts like flashing a hand. So I need to just really be slow.
Well, do they detect movement or?
It's more of they detect noise.
That one's getting pretty close to you on the right.
I'm gonna try to go in the middle here. If I get too close, I have to hold my breath. So like right now, even though I don't have to, I'm gonna hold my breath. It's a good thing I did. Alright,
that
alright,
one's
I'm good.
really close too.
I need to hold my breath. Okay, I'm gonna stop. So yeah, I am right next to that one. What about ahead of me? Again ahead of me. I got that one there. I'm gonna go this way then. I'm gonna kind of just go down here. The thing is
Those
that
are pretty creepy, honestly.
Yeah, it's a really solid atmosphere in these sections. It's just annoying because they're in every mission, and it's like, can I just get a chill one where I just walk from point A to point B? That'd be nice. But in some of the reviews, like, yeah, no, you're gonna encounter BTs in every mission you get, and it's like, dang it, 'cause I don't like them. I'm not supposed to like them either. But at least they're not too hard. It's just like common sense.
Well, it
take
seems
your
like
time.
it would be effective a couple times, but then eventually it would wear thin in the game.
Yeah.
Like, the creepiness of it only works so many times before it eventually hits annoyance.
Yeah, I think that's
Like,
what.
I think it's one of the hard parts with like survival horror games is balancing tension with frustration.
Yeah, for sure. I'm interested to see how
there's a lot
they
of survival
change it
games
up.
that don't do very well with that, to be honest.
I know that there are upgrades I can get to the point where like I can get rid of some BTs to make it easier. Also, they're introducing another mechanic about the BB-8. BB-8, that's Star Wars.
I don't know. The kid doesn't look so hot.
I don't know. The Death Baby. I don't know what these things are called. I forgot.
Temporarily suspended, but they can be restored. I can perform the necessary maintenance.
I'm able to know where the BTs are because of that baby being hooked up to me. That baby can see the BTs. It is a weird game.
Makes sense. Yeah, Kojima's weird.
Hideo Kojima for you. I kind of like it though. I really like the weirdness in this game. It's kind of what led me to play it. I was like, you know.
Yeah. I get that. Weird games can be pretty interesting.
When the strain on your BB exceeds sustainable levels, it triggers the production of harmful compounds, and the body, in essence, begins to attack itself. It's called autotoxemia. If your BB's not performing to spec, drop by your private room and see if the incubator helps.
But I would say, like, as far as like playing atmospheric games on stream, that's really the reason I'm not going to play Silent Hill on stream.
I get that.
I'm going to play that off stream. The tension of that game would be greatly lessened if it didn't feel so lonely. Because the game really tries to nail what it's like to be totally alone. in a hostile environment.
They definitely
But, like,
do
really
that here
fucked up
too.
hostile environment, like where it messes with your mind.
They definitely do that here too, but I don't like being alone, so I want to be able to experience this game while also, I don't know, removing some of that aloneness.
I can get that. I mean, for like, sometimes it's like, I can see like you want to play a game just a little bit with someone else to help out because it's just a little bit too freaky otherwise.
Yeah. Like,
I'm just saying, like, the reason I'm not going to do it with Silent Hill is I'm like, I kind of want the freakiness. I want to.
Yeah, you're into
people
it.
Really like. Really want the game to be able to fuck with my head. You know.
You're into it, yeah. Did you hear that Hideo Kojima's gonna remake Silent Hill and stuff?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
It's gonna be with the same head actor as this game.
Well, they're gonna finally do PT, right?
I don't
From
know.
what I
I just
understand, it's like- 'cause you
remember
know how
seeing
PT
a
got
picture
canceled and then it never
of
finished?
this actor in the game and being like, "Oh, hey, it's the guy from Death Stranding." And
Yeah,
it's gonna
well,
do
the whole
this.
thing with like, PT was like it was a playable trailer for Silent Hills and was supposed to be like a reboot of the franchise, and it never happened because you know falling out with Konami.
Well-
So I'm really hoping that because Hideo Kojima's back on board, maybe they'll get Guillermo del Toro back on board and they can actually make a proper Silent Hill game.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
I hope so, because I don't know if they're doing that or if it's going to be a different project with Silent Hill. But because Hideo Kojima's back on board, I imagine it's got to have something to do with what PT was going to be.
You sure?
Since PT was the inspiration for Resident Evil 7, and Resident Evil 7 did really well.
Must have had to pass through BT territory to get here too.
This stream's gonna be a little short compared to the 2 hours last time, mainly because dinner's gonna be coming soon.
I get you. I'm gonna have to dip pretty shortly too.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually call it here. I got to the next step and where I wanted to be.
Have you played many survival horror games?
Not really.
Okay,
You should play a few. You should give a couple a try.
Maybe.
So like the old Resident Evil games are really good.
I know after this I'm gonna stream SpongeBob.
Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
Yeah, buddy.
Nice. I think the next game I'm streaming after Red Dead, which I need to start streaming again, is probably going to be an arcade racer. I want to change it up genre-wise.
Nice.
I've been doing mostly
As much as I want to,
platformers and
I
action
would
adventure.
happily play Need for Speed Heat with you if you wanted to, but I completely understand if you'd rather play a different one. If you
I'm probably
like,
going to go more arcadey on that. I'm like, I got a
Maybe-
couple that I was looking at. Hydro Thunder Hurricane I might go back to. And I was also going to check out MotorStorm Pacific Rift.
Do Hydro Thunder. That's a classic.
Yeah, it's not going to be the original one though. It'd be the sequel that Microsoft did, which is a pretty good sequel actually.
Yeah, I liked it. It came with my 360. I was like, this is cool.
And with those materials you brought for
Look at this dude in his Santa hat. Freaking.
I was just talking about. What was thinking about doing? Outrun 2 was on the list because Outrun was really cool.
Did you ever play like Burnout Paradise? Through?
I have never finished Burnout Paradise. I played a little bit of the original. I actually just bought the remastered version recently because I wanted to play it online.
Nice.
I guess I got like a PlayStation Network card, and a lot of stuff was on sale for like the winter sale. So I picked up 3 racing games for PS4. So I have Wreckfest, which is like Demolition Derby meets Flat Out by THQ. Picked up Horizon Chase Turbo, I think. Yeah, Horizon Chase Turbo, and it's kind of Outrun-ish in style, like kind of a throwback to older racing games. And then I got Burnout Paradise remastered.
You there? Little help?
Okay, Sam.
Wanted to find some stuff that actually had online communities that are still running. Wreckfest has been really fun online, by the way.
Nice. I mean, it looks fun, but honestly, I'm really into like the closest I can get to sim racers at this point without having a wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like. I don't like sim racers anymore.
Well, here's the thing. I've
honestly.
experienced it with a wheel and shifter and pedals in Nick's house, and I'm like, damn, this is actually really fun. Not
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Forza
like,
Motorsport, but just
Forza
like
Horizon's bad.
realistic
I'm just like,
physics with the
I just want
controller.
something with like stupid, crazy physics and explosions.
See, for that, I just go to Burnout.
You mean still
But see, that's the thing. Burnout. All you have left, the only Burnout game that's still online is Burnout Paradise remastered.
Hey, I just go to Burnout 3 and just.
But Burnout 3 you can't play online. You can't. I'm looking for games that have more online players because the thing is, you can only do so much with AI in racing games, especially when they're not particularly well made and kind of rubber bandy crap.
That's true.
Like especially like Split Second and Motorstorm games are pretty notorious for having rubber bandy AI, which they're awesome games, but honestly the AI sucks in them.
However,
so like I would have loved to have played Split Second, Motorstorm, the older Burnout games. Well,
Oh shit! This guy's explaining the baby. I should have been listening.
Via the chiral network.
But anyway,
I wanted to tell you how this baby works, but he just explained it.
The update is in progress. Right now, the pod is synchronizing with the steel.
Yeah, just look
mother
at the
in
subtitles
Capital Knot
after the.
City and reconfiguring its settings based on the latest data.
There's a reason why the subtitles on.
And I'm just like, I really wanted to find stuff that still had active online communities, and most of those old racing games from the PS3 360 era have been taken offline.
Yeah.
So I
Need
was
for
looking
Speed
to
Hot
find like
Pursuit
newer stuff.
remastered is on PS4, and it, was a new game that people are
Yeah, I
playing
wasn't a huge fan of that one though. It didn't have spectacular crashes like I wanted.
I know.
A little bit too realistic, but no, it wasn't realistic, but like it wasn't as arcadey as I wanted either.
You should remember that.
And I can't get. I was actually interested in trying Forza Horizon, but I don't have an Xbox One.
Each
so
one has been
I'm not putting an Xbox One just for it.
Steel mother's womb.
But it's kind of more simmy than I
renders
want
them
anyway.
Unpredictable and prone to failure.
And I did try to give Crew 2 a try, and it was
Has
okay.
remained in service for over a year.
It really wasn't anything exciting,
It
to
may
be honest.
need to be retired before this expedition is over.
I'll go back to Need for Speed Heat at some point, but it's also just a little bit
There's no way to
too
keep my BB alive.
realistic.
I wouldn't call Need for Speed Heat realistic in the slightest, but it's okay.
But it's not arcadey. It's not like arcadey like Burnout.
Well, Burnout, you got on the spectrum. On one end you got Burnout, on the other end you got like Gran Turismo. If it in the middle is kind of like Forza Horizon, and like
go
Forza
more
Horizon is a
arcade
little
than
bit to the
Burnout,
right of Sim. If a Need for Speed Heat's a little bit to the left in arcade,
I
but
spoke with Hartman.
Yeah,
have
like
the
well,
results
Heat is
soon.
just like I don't know. I didn't think there was enough
Anyway,
spectacular
get some
over the
rest.
top
You and
explosions
your
and
BB are both
crashes.
exhausted.
yeah, you're not looking for a Need for Speed game then. You're looking for something crazier.
I'm well, like
night,
old Need
Sam.
for Speed I liked. Older Need for Speed was substantially different. I think that's gotten more and more. I don't know. That changed over the years. I want something that's more just stupidly over the top.
For sure.
Which I think Burnout's more like Burnout's pretty substantially over the top, but I think there's stuff that's even more ridiculous than Burnout is, and I've been looking into that. Also, I'm not super into customizing cars in games. I think I've discovered. I'm kind of cool with whatever default crazy options it gives me, you know, opposed to like building a perfect ride.
My fair lady.
Oh hey, it's the woman.
I miss something like the cruising games where like you can
you
drive a
see?
dinosaur or a helicopter.
How are things over
Where the
there?
game just is like physics. Fuck physics.
Still not under guard.
That's
Still
not a
not
thing
chained up.
in this universe.
Still can't leave. But if you can keep
Also,
making
dangerous driving
connections,
was lackluster,
if
which
you
is
can get to
unfortunate
me,
because I wanted
I
to
can
like
go back
dangerous driving,
east, back home.
but it's kind of. Did you get a chance to play it?
I mean
Sorry,
that.
I'm watching this cutscene. We kind of toned you out there so I can listen to her.
It's bad. There are fewer and fewer people in
I'll
the
tell you in a
cities
sec.
these days. No one's having children anymore. But humans aren't made for living alone. They're supposed to come together, to help one another. And if we as a people can't do that, if we can't reconnect, then, well, it's like Bridget said, extinction.
Come on. Rebuilding America isn't gonna get rid of the BTs. As long as they're still around, there's no escaping it.
But at least we'll have hope. I'll be waiting, Sam. Waiting for you. Come and find me.
Is she his sister or his girlfriend or something? Okay, what were you talking about before I cut you off?
I was saying I kind of miss like the older, super arcadey kind of games that seem to really stop appearing after the early 2010s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have this kind of stuff like Split Second, Motor Storm, Burnout, that really filled that gap. But I think a lot of that was kind of based on super arcadey early series like Rush, Cruisin', Hydro Thunder, all that kind of stuff. And I kind of miss that kind of mid-tier budget arcade racers that were really crazy over the top, but still really entertaining to play in their own right, even though their physics are completely unrealistic.
Give me a direction. Forward, left, back, right, arrow.
Left.
Left? Okay. I'm gonna do left.
So I kind of miss when you could, like, in the old, like, cruising games, when you could drive a dinosaur or a helicopter or something just stupid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was entertaining to like drive tanks in some of those games.
Yeah, I agree that I miss that over the top fucking craziness that older racers had.
Yeah,
I wish that could come back.
I want to return to more of that, and I'm like, that's why I've been supporting like Dangerous Driving and Wreckfest. In particular, Wreckfest is a nice throwback to Flat Out, where it's all based around Destruction Derby and really beating the shit out of cars. Because I want to see more of those kind of games. I thought, honestly, MotorStorm was probably one of the better ones to come out recently. But I didn't get a chance to play that back when it was actually online. I didn't have a PS3 when those games were popular online games.
Inconclusive. But you possess other singular qualities, being a repatriate as well. I must confess to a measure of...
But I know a lot of those series are owned by like Midway. I know they finally did a new Cruise and Blast games in arcades.
How has Midway been over the past recent years? It's like
Midway died. That company died off.
I thought so.
Back in 2016, 2015, right around there.
Who got the rights to their stuff?
Warner Brothers has most of it nowadays. That's why they're the ones that publish the Mortal Kombat games these days.
Okay.
So they own most of those.
Wait, Midway owned Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, Midway was the creators of Mortal Kombat, yeah.
I did not know that.
Crazy. Okay, so you should really take a look at Midway's catalog. Because a
probably-
lot of games that are now Warner Brothers owned were Midway games for a very long time.
Rip Midway.
Just like how THQ died off and then it got bought up by Nordic, but then they become THQ Nordic.
Yeah. I have so many THQ games for my PS2.
Oh, it's almost time.
THQ was a pretty popular company back then. I miss all the mid-tier kind of level games because I think they've kind of fallen way to a lot of AAA games.
Then what?
And I'm glad that there's still companies that are attempting to do more of those kind of old school mid-tier titles. Not too old school, but like just in terms of like games that don't have to be massive AAA budget games, you know?
Messages addressed to you. I've not taken a look myself.
Like, you know,
I gather they're mostly from your clients. You should see if they contain any useful information.
I can know what?
Mail can
Sorry.
be accessed by
I feel like there's been kind of a resurgence of mid-tier because a lot of those remakes, as of recently, have been of genres that were kind of dead for a while.
Yeah.
Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
For sure. And I like that those have been happening. Oh my god, imagine if EA decided to remake Burnout 3 and did a good job.
I think it'd be awesome.
That would be amazing.
I feel like they were probably basing a lot of their shit on how well Burnout Paradise Remastered sold, and I don't know exactly what the numbers were on that.
logs.
I think most people were kind of commenting on how the remaster is like questionable if it even is a remaster, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's about as much.
Same
of a
thing with
remaster.
Burnout, or no, the same thing with Hot Pursuit Remastered. Like, that game, if you go back to back, it's like...
Good support, really.
Yeah. The only big
Support
thing...
with the DLC included.
The only big thing is that for PC players, we have the DLC now.
Oh, actually, the other big thing is that the online modes are now available again, even though the servers have been down for a while.
True.
So now there's new servers to play on.
Alright.
Which I think is pretty big in terms of the online community for those games.
I just quit the game. I didn't mean to quit the game. I meant to quit the main menu. Well, alright. Bye, everyone. More.